This is the Mac of all trades, the loudest mouth in the South, AC Mac, and you're watching Toilet Side Wrestling Talk.
Hi, this is Brad with Pro Wrestling Junkies, and welcome to another episode of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. Today's guest is from St. Louis, Missouri, and began wrestling in 2003. He was trained by Adam Raw and Nick Tyson, and has worked for such promotions as St. Louis Anarchy, Anarchy Championship Wrestling, IWA Mid-South, Beyond, Evolve, Pro Wrestling 01 USA, to name a few. He's held the AWE Tag Team Championships. He was the PWF Heavyweight Champion 2 times, the Gateway Heritage Champion 3 times. He's also held the 01 USA Junior Heavyweight Championship. Along the way, he shared the ring with the likes of Pierre Abernathy, Warhorse, Danhausen, Kyle O'Reilly, Jimmy Jacobs, Cole Radrick. I could go on. He was ranked number 419 in PWI's 2020 Top 500 list. So please help me welcome today's guest, someone who champions a round earth theory and rejects all flat earthers, stiff Robo Ginger, Gary J. Hello,
Hey,
Gary.
what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Is it safe to say that you are a round earther?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Okay. So, first few questions may seem random, but I always put the ones I don't want to forget about kind of like at the beginning. So,
Yeah, no problem.
What is your connection to an actual barn owl?
Basically, it was just given to me as a gimmick in 2000.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's actually, the story is just I didn't know how to wrestle.
Okay.
So they a gimmick because I was like brand new. They gave me a gimmick and told me to learn how to do a gimmick, and the wrestling will come in time. So that's kind of where Gary the Barn Owl started.
So you never like had a pet barn owl growing up, or like a barn owl kind of sits on your shoulder when you go out into town?
Nope,
Nothing
not at
like
all.
that. Okay.
I
imagined like a parrot, like a barn on your shoulder. Just that's the guy with the barn owl on your shoulder, walking around. Okay, good. I got that. How much thought do you put into entrance music?
Ironically, like, I really didn't know that like entrance music should really fit who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Until I started getting, like deeper into the years. Like my theme now, Joker and the Thief, has like a whole thing to it now.
Okay.
And that just one night I was watching The Hangover, and I heard it, and I was like, "Fuck, that would be really good." And it kind of just started its own story there. Like now, people that see me regularly get like, when the rhythm kicks in, they start clapping. It's kind of like getting people involved before they even see me, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, it's like get everyone on board, and then you come out for your match.
Yep.
Okay, PWI 500. Is it like an honor, or is it like pressure being on the list?
You're probably not. My answer for this is I give a shit less about it.
Oh, okay, cool. No, that's great to hear. So you don't you don't look who's in front of you, who's behind you, buy like 10 copies.
I mean, like, no, I don't even own a copy. I didn't even know I was in it until I saw it on Twitter. Someone shared it or posted. I mean, it's cool because obviously I'm a long life wrestling fan. Like, PWI. Like, I've been wrestling 18 years, and that's the first time I've been in it. It's like, come on, whatever.
Yeah, totally. It's like Howard Stern, like, they never put him in the Radio Hall of Fame, and at this point, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it's a cool honorable mention, but like I don't live and die by it by any means. I don't even think about it, and I probably most of the time will forget about it.
Have you ever told anyone that you were on it?
No, I mean, other than like social media people know.
Yeah, but like you haven't.
But like, no, I don't tell anybody about it. Like, to me, how is that? How do you? Oh, I'm PWI's 500 list. I'm 419. There you go. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm better than number 420. Like, I'm one better.
Whoever that is.
Totally.
Exactly.
So, you worked a lot in like 2017 through 2019. It's it seemed you had a ton of matches. Has it been strange this year? Because you had a pretty steady, rate of work.
Yeah, I was on a roll, man. Like I was doing everything I wanted to do, and like as I say, I was on the grind. I was trying to get like 3 to 4 shows a week. And like I was traveling everywhere, and like I spent last November, every Thursday I was out on the East Coast for Beyond.
Oh wow!
I spent Thanksgiving at Beyond last year, and then like as soon as COVID hit, obviously it slowed stuff down, and
Sure.
Yeah, it's slowly trickling back in, but like it seems like it's kind of like we got selfish, and it's like, oh cool, we're kind of back, and then it's like things are kind of going awry again with people positive, and it seems like things are just getting worse in a way.
Yeah.
So I don't know how longer a lot of the indies will be around until next year, so it's just kind of hit or miss right now.
Yeah, it's really tough because now, it seems like it's getting worse again.
Yeah.
When I was hoping that it would get, it would start improving, but whatever. You know what? Wrestling will live on, and it'll be awesome again. Have you been in any shows performed without an audience?
Did I? No, I don't think I have yet.
Oh,
like usually it's like 50 or less people.
Like okay, but still it's like
smaller crowds and stuff. And like I've been getting tested every week just for my own safety and everybody else's safety, because I think obviously that's just the most responsible thing to do.
Yeah, totally. It's not incredibly invasive.
Yeah, exactly. So like no, there's no shows I've done with no fans yet.
Okay, I want to go back to a little Gary when he was a little boy. So St. Louis, did you grow up in the city or around St. Louis?
Actually, I grew up in Connecticut. I didn't move to. Yeah, I'm an East Coast kid. Like I wish Vince McMahon was my.
I was gonna say, like, wow, it's a real hotbed. All right, go on.
So anyways, I moved out to Missouri, St. Louis area when I was like 6th grade. So I don't know, let's say 12, 13.
Okay.
I don't know, sure. And like wrestling was already a part of my life, but it didn't become a bigger part of my life until I moved out to the Midwest. And then like it became like I watched all the wrestling I could. I videotaped all the wrestling I could. I jumped off a ladder on top of a fucking mattress for hours a day on the side of my house because I could.
Oh, wow. So, you guys had an extra mattress that you could just...
Yeah, exactly. I just
awesome.
put it in my shed. It was filthy dirty, but still.
Of course, totally.
But, yeah, I didn't really know it was something I could really attain and do, like, as... Because to me, it wasn't a career when I first, like, started looking into it. I was like, oh, this would be fun. I had no clue what I was getting into, but, yeah, like... I would say like your Mick Foley's and stuff like that are the ones that like really inspired me to go, okay, this is like what I want to do.
Was your family, were they into wrestling?
No, not at all. I was the only one.
Oh, okay. Did you have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older brother, Danny. He's got a wife and 2 kids in the house thing. He's like really happy with the white picket fence story. And I'm more of your, I consider myself like a gypsy. I like to travel and like, hang out, and like, I'm more of your like, non-family related guy.
Oh, okay, totally. That actually makes sense. It's a good description. Were you athletic as a kid? Like,
I played like soccer and I played baseball. I was a catcher playing baseball, but like not really like super athletic, other than just kind of being a kid and spending a lot of my time outside or like in the woods building tree houses and shit.
Yeah. So when was like the moment you're like, okay, I'm gonna start looking for a trainer. This looks like fun.
It kind of just fell upon me when I was like 15 or 16.
Okay.
I had a buddy Pete who was working down at the local bar downtown in Fenton, Missouri, and him and my buddy Matt, or Pierre Abernathy as people know him.
Okay.
Who is still, obviously my best friend in the whole wide world, but like. Basically, this guy came into Pete's bar and was like, "Oh, I'm starting a wrestling company." Of course, we're like, "Oh, wrestling companies are great."
Yeah, I love wrestling.
Exactly. So, and like my original training, like started in a ring in a trailer park, and it wasn't credible at all. Like it was just like, okay, we trained here for a whole day. That's all we know. And I'm like, well, there's no way this is right. There's no way I can learn everything about wrestling in a day.
Was it cool being in a ring for the first time? Like as a fan,
yeah.
like.
I just spent hours like in it. Like I remember, like I didn't care how I was getting beat up or what was. I was just happy. It's like, oh, I'm in a fucking wrestling ring.
Yeah. All right, go on. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Go on.
So basically, like And then we met some other people that kind of knew more about the business and about training. So we moved the ring into a diesel garage, and that was when I ended up meeting Adam Raw and Nick Tyson, and they did like my initial training.
Was it like night and day, like from what you thought it was going to be?
Oh, absolutely. Like I thought I was gonna waltz in there and be like Jeff Hardy 0.20, you know, like,
Oh,
I was
really?
like, oh, I'm gonna be the next Jeff Hardy.
Could they
Not
sense
knowing
that
like,
you were, could they sense you had that attitude coming in?
I don't know, but I tell you what, man, like, and I don't mean this in like a bad way or a
Sure.
bullying way. Like, they beat the shit out of me constantly, but I kind of appreciate it now because I think that's the way it kind of should be in a way. Like, they didn't go out of their way to hurt me, but they also let me know that, like, yeah, this is like a full contact entertainment. Like, this is some serious shit, like some big boy stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna waltz in here and just be like, oh, I can do this.
What was the hardest thing that you had to like adapt to?
My size, because I've never really been like a really like jacked or big guy. Like, I'm kind of lanky and tall. So I guess realizing that like people would try to take advantage of me and like I would just have to, you know, fight them off or defend myself. Like, that's kind of one of the weirdest things. And like now it's not a problem at all because it's kind of like my mystique is like being this badass guy that beats the shit out of people. But a lot of that comes from the early years of just me getting my ass kicked and having to learn how to like defend myself because I'm a smaller guy in the business and like other older guys that are garbage and always were garbage were trying to take advantage of me, you know?
So did you have to like go out of your did you go out of your way to like try and put weight on?
Not really, because like I have such a high metabolism and like it would take me like, every 10 minutes to gain a lot of weight. Like I've gained weight over the years, but it's all just been healthy weight and like as I've gotten a little older. But like right now, like I'm in the best shape I've ever been because when quarantine started, I pretty much spent a couple weeks doing nothing, and that let me heal my my body and like I got like a mental break from traveling and like the road and just everything. I got a mental break from. And then I just started working out like 3 or 4 times a week, just trying to get like my cardio a lot better and working on core stuff. So I'm not really worried about like being the size of Hulk Hogan. I just want to be in ring shape I can be. Yeah, just so you can go. Exactly, yeah. Is it hard? Well, I imagine it's hard to have a relationship when you're on the road. Oh, yeah, definitely. I've actually been through 2 wives, so I'm divorced 2 times. Oh, nice. I'm on number 2. I'm catching up to you. Hopefully it stays like that. Totally. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things where like wrestling usually comes first, and that was a really big problem for a while, because I didn't know how to pick and choose like when real life should take over and when wrestling should take over. Because to me, like wrestling's all I ever wanted, all I ever wanted to do. Sure. But like honestly, over me going to therapy and learning a lot about myself, I finally have a good medium now in my life that I'm 34 years old that like I know when to do what. Like it's all been a learning process. Okay, I mean, yeah, and you have to get to the point where you find your groove, the good balance, you know, whatever the shitty stuff that happened in the past, as long as you're good now, it was necessary for it to happen. Is my philosophy. And like, whenever I talk about any of that stuff, I think therapy is like one of the best things I've ever done, and like I encourage anybody that asks me about it. I feel the same way. It can't hurt. Everybody should do it. Not at all. Like it's like anybody watching this, if they get anything out of this, if you think you need help or need to talk to somebody, go to therapy. I second that because it might help you regardless. Exactly. So when did you first like go on the road? How old were you? I started when I was 17, and I didn't do anything but like local stuff. Okay. Like I went to wrestling, but maybe once every couple months when I first started because I didn't know about it. No. It was probably like 3 to 4 years in my wrestling career when I started kind of, going to Illinois. And then, I'd go to Indiana. And then we just eventually started going longer and longer trips. And like the first big trip I made was down to ACW. Okay. Down in San Antonio, Texas. Like we basically, Darren Childs runs that. And I still think he has like a really big part in it. We hit him up on Facebook or MySpace. And just like, hey, we'd love to come work for you. He's like, oh yeah, like I'd love to use you guys. And we sent him like a resume and footage. This is MySpace by all means. So that's a lot. And we get there in San Antonio and he's like, wow, you guys actually showed up. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't we? Like, we want to wrestle. He's like, that's like 14 hours away. He's like, I said come down and work, but I didn't really think you were going to show up.
Wow.
And that was me and Pierre went together. And then we pretty much had like a full-time job there for a while, for years.
And just by you just reached out to him, and that's how it all started?
That's how it started with the relationship down with ACW. Yep. And then from being in Texas, we made a lot of connections.
Mm-hmm. So how often were you going down there?
Man, for a while, sometimes it was almost between 2 and maybe 3 times a month for sure.
Oh my God. So you guys drive together?
Yep. It ended up being me, Nick Tyson, Dingo, and Pierre would go together. And then Dingo and Nick Tyson kind of just flaked off and went away. And then Evan Jalisco got in the car, and then Davey Vega, and then Matt Fitchett. And that was like the 5-person carload that like we all hang out. And that's how we all became really good friends with like Fitchett and Vega.
Do you look at those times like as, not that they were terribly, 30 years ago, as like really fun memories? Like not even the wrestling part, like the hanging out and the traveling.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, we were going 2-3 times a month.
Yeah.
And like I saw them more than I saw anybody in my real life for a while. Even at the time, like my girlfriend wife.
yeah, they're your work wives.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And like we're all still really close. We just don't talk every day. I see Pierre every day, and I see Evan like every other day. Like those two are like really close friends. And then when I see Fitchett Vega, usually it's when we travel together.
Can you guys critique one another?
Oh yeah, we're
Freely?
always we're all honest, and we're complete assholes to each other at 11.
Well, that's good. Okay, so those relationships are going well.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you watch your matches?
Yep. So I used to have a really bad problem. I couldn't watch them because I'd get like this weird anxiety, but I watch them now and I can be happy with them. But like I can always find stuff that I'd like to do better, or like I could have done better at the moment. Like spur of the moment stuff that I'm like, why did I do that? That I'm watching back and pretty much just taking mental notes on to try to like fix and continue.
Yeah. Have you seen your first match?
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube somewhere. I don't even know what it's under, but I remember being on YouTube and it is awful.
Is it really?
It's a shit show. It's complete awful. It's like 2003.
So what was the feedback when you came after the match and you came to the back? What was the feedback you were given?
There was because everybody on that show was pretty much inexperienced or had no clue what they were doing.
Oh, okay. So you may have looked like the best one.
Exactly. It's just trial by error, I guess,
And when was the first match that you just like, I got my ass kicked? Not like even if you won or lost, but just like really felt it.
Anytime I worked Dingo in the early 2000s, he was a guy that is like, if people are familiar with Dingo, he was like a guy in the St. Louis area.
Oh, sure.
That paved the way. And he was like, he started breaking out. He was like IWA Mid-South Heavyweight Champion.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up going to CZW for like a brief second. And then he was even like going to start for Ring of Honor. And then like he kind of just shot himself in the foot and kind of just, I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of mental stuff going on at the time.
Oh, okay.
So he like kind of stepping away. And then now he lives in Chicago and he's happy.
Great. All right, good for him.
But he used to like just beat the shit out of me. But like I'd always give it back. I remember one time though, like the 1 or 2 super kicks I've ever thrown in my career. One was at him. I super kicked him and like broke his jaw.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like I was like, maybe I don't throw super kicks anymore.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But he's forgiven you?
Oh yeah, like we go out there and just purposely beat the shit out of each other and come back.
Oh, okay, good.
We would go out there and just have a good time and then realize it now, like, man, like definitely that's when CTE wasn't a thing. And it's like, I'm sure I have CTE at this point.
Oh, that's scary. That's scary. Well, enjoy your life now before you do something fucking crazy on someone.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's like the craziest match you've wrestled as far as like gimmicky? Like, have you had to do thumbtacks or? Yeah,
I've done thumbtacks. I've done thumbtacks. I've done light tubes. Light tubes was only 2 light tubes. I actually wrestled Nick Gage at St. Louis Anarchy. I think it was like a year and a half ago or 2 last year.
Okay.
And I took light tubes to the head for the finish. That was insane. Like light tubes fucking hurt. Like,
yes, I was gonna say, like, did you have like little bits of glass like in your hair?
No, it was like the front of the crown. Like it was just a weird feeling. Like the first time he hit me with one, it didn't break. So then he like wrecked me with both of them. I'm like, oh my God, like that's a weird feeling. I was like, good thing that's the finish.
Oh my God. And
But
so thumbtacks, were you like, did you have a shirt on, or was it
Nope.
just bare?
I was basically I was told the trick is just don't throw your palms in them or your
That's what I was
elbow.
going to add. Yeah, like getting up, you have to be real careful about that.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, there's no way around it. You're getting pricked with a whole bunch of little tacks. So
were you nervous the first time?
adrenaline kicks in, so you don't really
Okay.
think about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then getting them out afterwards is pretty
Yeah, I mean
easy.
that's kind of a weird feeling. It's really a pain in the ass taking a shower afterwards because you've all the little cuts and scrapes.
Oh,
on your
yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My last question is, do you have any desire to work out of the country?
Oh, absolutely. Like I was kind of looking at it right before COVID had happened, and like I was like trying to map stuff out and just trying to figure stuff out because I really think like that would help me with my reputation and my name, just going overseas and kind of building rapport over there and then coming back. Because like at this point, like 18 years in, like honestly, like if I never got a contract or got an opportunity on like this big WrestleMania stage, that doesn't really bother me. Like if I can still pay my bills and feed myself or like others, off me just wrestling and traveling, that's what I want to do. Like
that's an
it doesn't
awesome
really
life. It's a success.
exactly. It's
And from like a little boy wrestling fan standpoint, like, yeah, you were a pro wrestler and you were able to live your life as that.
exactly. I mean, you realize now that life's so short. Like I really try to enjoy
That's awesome.
it.
All right.
And, like I've realized I've taken so many. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I've taken so many things for granted in my life, and now I've learned that, like, man, I shouldn't take shit for granted. So I really don't take anything for granted anymore. I just enjoy it as it goes.
Oh, that's a good philosophy to, even if you get it at any point, realize it at any point in your life. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go in 2 seconds, but I want to know if you'll play a quick yes or no game, random questions.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't have anything to do with wrestling, but all right, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Have you ever slept with one of your belts on the pillow next to you? Like say the night you want? No, never. Okay, I didn't even think it. Have you ever been to the Playboy Mansion Grotto? And if so, is it romantic?
No.
Okay.
That has never been to Playboy Mansion.
Okay. Have you ever dated another species?
Nope.
Okay.
The only cats in my life are my cats.
Okay. Have you ever taken part in a polar bear plunge?
No, but that actually sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, I've always like that. Oh, maybe I would do that one day. Okay. For $125,000, would you spend 1 week in the ADX Florence prison? It's the prison where the most, it's a federal prison in the United States where the most dangerous criminals they keep there. 1 week, $125,000.
You know what? Fuck it. I'll go yes.
Okay. Well, because you're like me, I would be, in an hour, I would be washing someone's socks. You look much more intimidating than I do. So yeah, I think that would be a good thing. $125,000 for a week.
No, exactly.
And you may have to share a cell, but I won't muddy the question anymore with that kind of stuff. So where are you going to be wrestling next?
Actually, on Sunday, I wrestle for First Wrestling in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota. So everybody should check that out. Eric Cannon runs that, and like it's gonna be a really good show. Like, sounds like he's got 2 shows that day. I'm on both of them. It's like
sweet.
Like an afternoon and evening show. They're already sold out, I'm pretty sure, but I would check their social media.
Okay.
At First Wrestling should be their Twitter. Should be a really good time. I'll be there on Sunday.
Okay. And do you wrestle, like, do you try, like, in the last couple years, book, like, or in Thanksgiving weekend? Is that a big...
It just depends. Like, my biggest holiday is Halloween. So as long as I can get some time on Halloween or the day of Halloween, like, it doesn't matter what my schedule is. I'm not big on Christmas or Thanksgiving, but, like, if I have Halloween, that's all I need.
Okay, nice. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and giving me your time. I hope maybe one day you'll come back on if I haven't turned you off. Repulsed you already at this point. But stay safe and healthy, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me on. Anytime you want to chit chat, let me know.
Awesome. Take care, Gary.
All right. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.